Well, this is most unsatisfactory. This won't do at all.
I assure you my credentials are impeccable.
Academically, perhaps. I'm talking about sex.
I also assure you my morals are perfectly respectable, too.
I'm referring to the fact that you are a man.
There's just one thing, though.
Yes?
That window you nailed down, the one Mr. Warburton climbed out of.
What about it?
I think we ought to put a few more nails in, just to be on the safe side. Who was this lady who detained you in the corridor?
Oh, blimey. I am forgetting her name. She was big lady. Very large bosoms.
Grandioso. Very good.
Yes, well, while you're trying to remember her name, perhaps you'd better sit down. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I hope you've all done your homework. Yes.
Excuse me, please. I am remembering the name. Missy Courtney.
No, Miss Courtney.
Yes, absolutely.
The lady with the large bosom.
She's wanting to see you.
Yes, well, she'll just have to wait.
Excuse me, please. She's already waiting.
She may be the principal, but I have a class to teach. Now, as I was saying about... Miss Miss Courtney. I was just on my way to see you, actually.
That's not the impression I got.
Are you Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Oh, I've got a message for you. From her ladyship.
Oh, lady who?
Miss Courtney. She's been in here and she wants to see you.
Yeah, I know what she does want.
Yes, Mr. Brown?
You want to see me?
In my office, immediately. Enter. It has taken you 2 minutes, 38 seconds exactly to come to my office immediately. I'm glad I didn't ask you to take your time.
Well, I'm sorry, I was detained.
Well, I thought I'd better tell you that an inspector has arrived.
Oh, my conscience is clear.
I beg your pardon?
Well, apart from the odd parking ticket, I've never had any trouble with the police.
An education inspector.
Ah, I see. I'm sorry. How stupid of me.
Yes. Well, he'll probably want to call in on your class.
Oh, well, don't worry. I'll deal with him.
You don't deal with inspectors from the local authority, Mr. Brown. You cosset them and flatter them and agree with everything they say.
Yeah, well, I'll do that as well.
I expect he'll want to see your register.
My register?
You do have a register.
Oh, that register? Yes, of course.
Oh, well, you better call it as soon as you get back to your class.
Right.
By the way, while you're here, the local authority want me to fill in a few details about you on this form. Now, I've got your name.
Yes.
Address.
Yes.
Sex.
Occasionally.
Marriage.
Sorry. No. I was engaged once. Matter of fact, I proposed marriage, but it didn't really work out. There was quite a lot of opposition.
A father?
No, a husband. I didn't realize she was married at the time.
What do you do during the day?
Oh, well, nothing at the moment, I'm afraid. I'm waiting for a suitable position.
And what was your last position?
Well, I was teaching at a secondary modern school, but I left. I couldn't stand any more beatings.
Well, I didn't think teachers beat children anymore.
Oh, they don't. It was the other way round.
I think you better take this form and fill it up yourself and bring it back to me later.
Right.
And do be careful what you say to the inspector.
Oh, of course. Oh, by the way, the new student has arrived.
You won't forget to add the name to the register, will you?
Roger Kenyon.
Roger Kenyon. Yes. Miss Courtney, I'm just completing the register and getting the details of our new student before that inspector chappie pokes his nose in.
Hello. Mr. Brown.
I shan't be a moment, Miss Courtney. What is your job?
Inspector.
Oh, what, local transport?
Local Education Authority.
Ooh. Yeah, I thought he was the new student.
The new student is a female.
Is she? Well, you didn't tell me that. Would you all look at your new...
There is an Indian lady in my office who wishes to speak to Mr. Ranjit Singh.
Excuse me, Missy. This lady, is she resembling an elephant?
I wouldn't exactly put it like that, but she is rather large.
Blimey, it is Surinder.
Yeah, well, ask her to come along here, Miss Courtney, would
That's
you?
very irregular.
Yeah, well, it is rather important.
Oh, very well, but don't make a habit of it.
Look, I really think you ought to go home.
No, I stay.
What is going on?
What is going on?
What is going on?
Yes, well, I'm talking to this lady.
Why is she here?
Well, she's talking to me.
Why is she sitting in the corridor?
Why is she sitting in the corridor?
Must you repeat everything I say? What is going on in here? Where is Mr. Brown?
Oh, he will be here any minute. He's coming from the tea room.
10 minutes is the normal time allowed for tea, Mr. Brown.
Yes, of course. We were discussing parts of speech.
Well, in future, I'd be obliged if you do it in the class.
Certainly.
Now then, how are your students coming along with their English?
Oh, extremely well.
Good. Then I shall stay and listen for a few minutes.
Ah.
But don't worry, I shan't interfere. I make it a practice to drop in on classes from time to time to see what sort of progress is being made.
It's beef stroganoff in the cookery class tonight.
Are you trying to get rid of me?
No, I just thought you might fancy a bit. I mean...
Well, I don't, so will you please begin?
At last. Miss Courtney, how nice to see you.
I'm afraid I can't return the compliment.
Come on, home you go.
Good night. Sorry about all that.
Come on now, quickly. Hurry up, good night. Good night, quickly.
I'll go and see if there's anybody else about.
I really am very sorry.
I should hope you are.
Hope it hasn't inconvenienced you.
Well, of course it's inconvenienced me. I was quite happily curled up in bed with Daphne de Mario.
I am really sorry about this. Oh, I've...
Now what's the matter?
Well, I've left my shopping in the
Well,
class.
for heaven's sake, hurry up and get it.
Thank you.
For heaven's sake, are you going to take all night?
No, I'm just putting these things
Well,
away.
do hurry up. Sid? Sid? Sydney! For heaven's sake, we're locked in.
Oh, well, we mustn't panic. We can last out till Monday morning. Have a carrot. Let's have a sing-song, shall we? Shall we start with Daisy? You know how it goes. Daisy!
Give me a bunch of fivers.
I'll give you bunches of tennis. Will you say? Ah, Miss Courtney.
What on earth is going on in here?
Well, we were just having a few practical lessons.
What in? Unarmed combat?
Oh, it might come in useful.
Oh,
Good evening, Miss Courtney, or should I say, Mother?
please don't remind me of last night's unfortunate incident.
Sorry.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Brown.
Good evening, Gladys.
Hiya.
Oh,
You'll get me shot then for her ladyship.
I wish you won't miss one.
Oh.
Is the old dragon in?
Yes, the old dragon is.
Oh. Evening.
Well, let us just say that we no longer require your services. I feel that Miss Hardacre would be much more suitable.
Yeah, well, in that case, I suggest you get Miss Much More Suitable Hardacre to take over tonight, because I'm going home.
You can't just walk out like that.
Oh, yes, I can. And I won't say it's been a pleasure, because it hasn't. All I can say is... in India, you'd be sacred.
I thought you'd gone.
Yeah, I was just collecting my things.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Mr. Brown,
Hello, Miss Courtney.
why are you creeping about?
Well, I didn't want to disturb you.
Very considerate. And perhaps you wouldn't mind creeping into the office for a moment. I want a word with you. You may sit. Now, Mr. Brown, the other evening, after everyone had gone, I went into the gentleman's toilet.
Oh, I'm sure that was a perfectly natural mistake.
I went because the caretaker had complained about the graffiti on the walls. And, Mr. Brown, it is just not good enough.
Oh, I don't know. I thought some of it was rather witty.
It was disgusting. Someone had written Enoch Powell rules okay.
Yes, well, with all due respect, I'd hardly call that disgusting.
Mr. Brown, your students have been at it again.
What? Not more graffiti?
No, not this time. Read this.
Young virile male student wishes to meet nice lady from cookery class for evenings of mutual pleasure. Apply Maximilian Papandreou.
Kindly inform Mr. Papandreou that the notice board is for official notices and not for procuring young women.
Right. I'm sure his intentions were quite innocent.
Evenings of mutual pleasure.
Yes, well, he probably only wanted her to whip up an omelette.
Well, tell him to whip up his own omelettes.
Right, I'll have a word with him.
See that you do.
Your coffee, Miss Courtney.
Thank you, Gladys. Oh, by the way, Mr. Brown, how is the mock examination coming along?
Oh, well, we haven't started it yet. We're going to get cracking just as soon as we've finished our tea break.
Well, I do hope that the results will be good. Otherwise, I shall have to think about axing the course.
Axing the course? You wouldn't do that, surely?
I most certainly would. It would be a complete waste of time for them to carry on and sit for an examination they have no hope of passing. Thank you, Gladys.
Well, that's it. I've had it.
Mr. Brown?
Good evening, Miss Courtney.
Mr. Brown, I marked your students' examination papers last night.
Yes, well,
Unbelievable.
I can't explain.
Everybody answered every question correctly.
You see what happened? What did you say?
Everybody answered every question correctly.
Good Lord. Thank you. Where's,
I've sent her to the tea room.
Oh, good. Well, I think it might be a good idea if Ellie and I were left alone. I presume you'll speak to Miss Suli?
You presume wrong. I think Mr. Nadim should do his own dirty work. Just a moment. Where do you all think you're going?
To the car.
Mr. Brown, this is most unsatisfactory.
Well, I agree.
Well, what are you going to do about
Well, there's only
this?
one thing I can do. If you can't beat them, join them. Hello, Miss Courtney.
This is disgraceful.
No, please. This is Congo.
Silence. I suggest you all leave immediately.
Well, thank you all for visiting me. It made my noontime really pleasurable.
Good evening.
As for you, Mr. Brown, words fail.
Oh, come on, Miss Courtney. They're only coming here to cheer me up a
I
bit.
warn you, Mr. Brown, that if this sort of thing ever occurs again in the future, you are out.
It's like that,
Mr. Brown!
Could I please have a word with you, Lucy? Will you please speak on my behalf? Now, please, will you do this one thing for me? Please.
Please, leave it to me.
Thank you, Mr. Barbeck.
Enter.
Miss Courtney, we've got a bit of a problem. Captain Ivanovich is outside.
Oh, don't tell me his compatriot has escaped.
Oh, no, Boris is safely on his way back to the ship.
Well, then why has the captain returned?
But he wants to defect. You see, he says, like Boris, that he's fallen heels over head in love.
Oh, these foreigners are impossible. Why, tell him to go away. His infatuations have nothing to do with us.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid this one has. You see, he says he's fallen in love with you.
Little English bulldog. You're my silver. I am loving you, Mrs. Courtney.
Did you say anything to Miss Courtney about Danielle and me?
Oh, only in passing.
Oh, great. I better go and check it.
I didn't mean any harm. I'd no idea she felt that way.
What way?
About you.
What are you talking about?
Oh, unrequited love.
Pardon?
You and her ladyship. She fancies you.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
Yeah, oh, it's true. No, she was very upset when she heard about you and Danielle. Poor
Gladys,
soul.
I don't know where you got this ridiculous story from, but you are completely mistaken.
Oh, no, I'm not. I heard her.
What? I mean, she told you that she fancied me?
Well, not in so many words, but I knew. It was written all over her face.
I can't believe it.
Yes, oh, it's not unusual, though. Oh, lots of older women fall for younger men. My sister ran off with a 30-year-old milkman.
Really? How old was your sister?
65.
But Miss Courtney's always given me the impression that she didn't like me.
Oh, well, women are very funny. And she's at a funny age.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Well, the best of luck.
Thank you. Come to think of it, you're not far off it yourself.
Enter.
Miss Courtney.
Well, well, if it isn't the college Casanova.
Yes, well, I've come to explain about that.
Are you sure you can spare the time?
It's a complete misunderstanding. You see, I'm not really engaged to Danielle. She only said that to stop one of the teachers from pestering her.
Really?
Oh, it's perfectly true. The chap who takes the woodwork class was trying to chat her up.
Mr. Jarvis?
Is that his name? Well, I've never met him. Anyway, she concocted the whole thing just to get out of an embarrassing situation.
I see.
I'm terribly sorry. Especially in view of, well...
In view of what?
Yeah, well, I hardly like to mention it.
Well, you have mentioned it, so you may as well continue.
Well, let me say right away that it's a perfectly natural thing to happen.
What is?
Well, for one person to be attracted to another despite a difference in their ages.
To what two persons are you referring?
Well, you and I.
You and I?
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Brown, I'd no idea you felt like that about me. Well, as you said yourself, it's perfectly natural. Oh, you poor dear boy.
Oh, no, Miss Courtney, you don't understand.
Oh, but I do. Men have always found me rather fascinating.
Yeah, I'm sure they have. Look, let me explain.
Now, there's no need to apologize for the way you feel.
Yes, but
Of course, it's out of the question.
But, Miss Courtney, please.
Now, don't start groveling.
Thank you.
You know, come to think of it, and looking at you now, there's quite a resemblance.
Sid and me.
Yes, especially the profile. Like father, like son.
Oh, dear.
What about your mother?
Yeah, what about her? According to Sid, she sounds a right old dragon.
Mr. Brown? Mr. Brown!
Yeah, darling, what do you want? Sorry, Miss Courtney, I was miles away.
Well, did you tell him?
Yeah, well, I don't think I really ought to, actually.
But of course you must tell him, Mr. Brown. There's no other alternative.
Oh, there is.
What's that?
Well, I could shoot myself. Actually, Miss Courtney, I'll tell you the truth. I am late, and the reason is this. I just popped across to the pub for some cigarettes, was mistaken for a waiter, bought 2 drinks for 2 people I'd never even met before, was called a peasant, and finished up by pouring a glass of lager over a gentleman's head.
You're an even bigger liar than your students. I would have thought that you would have made an effort to be early this evening. After all, it is your last chance to teach them something before they take their exams tomorrow.
Yes, Miss Courtney, you're quite right, as usual.
Not that I think any of them have the remotest chance of passing. Now, Mr. Brown, I understand that none of your previous students passed their lower Cambridge certificate.
Oh, well, I think there were a few near misses.
That is not good enough. Obviously, Mr. Brown, you are sadly lacking in the necessary qualities required to teach English.
Oh, just a moment.
Don't interrupt. I shall be keeping a very close eye on you this term, Mr. Brown, and unless I see a marked improvement, out you go.
Well, it's not necessarily
I have no
altogether...
wish to listen to your feeble excuses.
Pompous old cow.
What was that?
Oh, I said, I'm just going now.
I'll just see what this letter is first.
Oh, I shouldn't bother if I were you. You never know where it's been. It could be full of germs.
Oh, don't be so ridiculous. You may not believe this, Mr. Brown, but when I was a young girl, I was very plain.
Absolutely. Is the old battle-axe in yet?
The old battle-axe is here.
Well, I wasn't meaning you, Miss Courtney.
Well, I trust you are not referring to Her Majesty.
Oh, no. I was referring to Gladys, the tea lady.
Huh.
What silver?
Well, I brought my silver tea set in case they wanted a drink.
Oh, perhaps the Duke would prefer a tot of rum, being an ex-naval man.
Oh, dear. I hadn't thought of that. Oh, well, he'll just have to make do with sherry.
Shall I ask Gladys to make up a couple of ham rolls in case they feel a bit peckish?
Ham rolls? You can't give royalty ham rolls. This is a very special occasion. Tell her to open a tin of salmon.
They won't want anything to eat.
It is better to be prepared. Oh, I wonder if we should have got a red carpet.
Look, why don't you go the whole hog and ask the music class to play the national anthem as they enter? This is supposed to be an informal visit.
I don't think you're approaching this special occasion in the right attitude.
I think you're being carried away.
Nonsense! This is an opportunity for all the staff and students to show their loyalty and devotion to our sovereign. It's up to the entire school to make a good impression. One never knows where it may lead. The New Year's honours list isn't far away.
Honours list?
Yes. A knighthood could be within your grasp.
A knighthood?
Mr. Jeremy Brown.
Arise, Sir Jeremy. Mr. Brown?
Yes, Your Majesty?
I beg your pardon.
I thought you were the Queen.
Have you been drinking?
No, just daydreaming.
Well, you had better wake up. class, we are endeavouring to teach English to foreign students.
Excuse me, Miss Courtney.
Don't interrupt, Mr.
Yeah,
Brown.
but I think you should know...
Mr. Brown!
All right, please yourself.
What are you doing, Mr. Brown?
Stay where you are, Miss Courtney. This could be dangerous. Yeah, that's right. Not moving now.
Mr. Brown!
Just a minute. Better to be safe than sorry. There.
Oh, I've just remembered. I haven't inspected the boilers.
Have you quite finished, Mr. Brown, or would you like to borrow a hammer?
You can't be too careful where strange insects are concerned. Have you any idea where it came from?
Yes, W. Parker and Son.
Pardon?
Fishing tackle suppliers.
Oh, fish... It wasn't...
It was.
Oh, dear. Got any glue?
I don't think trout are very fond of glue.
No, I suppose they don't. I'll buy you another.
Oh, I'll see that you do. Whilst he had a drink in the bar.
Getting up a bit of Dutch courage, eh?
I beg your pardon.
You need to feel with such a lovely person waiting to be,
It's you. Oh, where's Albert? You haven't pushed him down the stairs, have you?
No, he's just gone to comb his hair.
Well, is he all right? There's no damage, I hope.
I'm afraid there is, actually.
Oh, dear. Is it bad?
Well, the plant pot's broken.
I was referring to Albert.
Oh, Albert, no, he's fine. I'll get it.
Darling! Oh, it's you.
Yes, this is Darling. Miss Courtney.
Albert!
Dolores!
Dolores?
Haven't you a class to attend to?
Yes, of course, Darling. Dolores. Excuse me. Dr. 2P must have rolled away somewhere.
Excuse me, Mr. Brown, can you spare a moment?
Just a moment, Miss Courtney. We're right in the middle of a very interesting debate. Could you wait just a minute, please?
Certainly not.
Oh, very well. Right.
Enter. Ah, Mr. Brown. Hush. Don't you hush me.
Miss Courtney, I'm in terrible trouble.
You certainly are. You're 10 minutes late.
No, worse than that. I've lost £230 that Ranjit gave me to look after.
Crumpet!
If this is an example of your teaching methods, Mr. Brown, I am not amused.
Oh, it's probably something he's picked up from Giovanni.
Yeah. Well, I came in to ask you about the coach trip.
What coach trip?
Don't you ever read the notice boards?
Oh, yes. Well, occasionally.
Now listen, everybody. For the past 2 weeks, there has been a notice on the board to the effect that Mrs. Hunter, our history teacher, is organising her annual coach trip to a stately home for Sunday. We are going to Berkeley Hall, the ancestral home of Humphrey, Earl of Berkeley, which is renowned for its remarkable collection of tapestries and ancient manuscripts. Now, who would like to go?
Yeah, well, I had planned to do something on Sunday.
Cancel it.
Yeah, well, I don't think I can, you see.
I shall expect you to be here on Sunday at 12 o'clock sharp.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Miss Courtney?
No, I'm not going.
Ah, you've changed your mind?
No, I am going on your coach with you.
I am thinking we are lost.
We are not lost. Now, where are we, Sid?
I don't know. You had the map. You were doing the navigating.
Well, I couldn't read it in that old bone shaker of yours. It kept jiggling up and down.
Then you should have jiggled up and down with it.
We are most definitely lost.
I'm not lost. We're just not where we should be.
Well, perhaps you could show us where we should be.
Well, I know where we should be. I just don't know where we are.
We are.
Look, we passed a sign just down the road. Now, did anybody see what it said?
Yes, please.
Right, well, I'll look it up on the map, and then we will know where we are.
I really don't think that would be much help, Mr. Brown.
With all due respect, Miss Courtney, I happen to possess a Pathfinder's badge from the Boy Scouts, so I know quite a bit about mapping. Once I know what the sign said, it's a simple matter to find out our exact location. Now, what did the sign say?
Cattle crossing.
Yep.
I think I am going to scream.
Now what are we gonna do?
Well, there's only one thing we can do. Come on, everybody. I spy with my little eye something beginning with rain.
La 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 la.
Sorry, Miss Courtney, we were practicing the Velita.
Well, I think I'll sit this one out, if you don't mind.
Oh.
Enter. Mr. Brown, whatever have you done?
Oh, Oh, it's nothing really, just a slight accident, a compound fracture.
Well, you can't possibly go to the dance like that.
Oh, I couldn't let you down. No, I insist.
But I wouldn't consider it.
Oh, well, if you feel like that,
Oh,
fine.
most certainly I do.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you.
Ha! She didn't fall for it, did she?
Absolutely.
Oh, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown? A compound fracture, I think you said.
Yes.
Well, it seems more like a movable fracture to me. Mr. Brown?
And when you come to the Bonita, it's mine.
Well, come along, Mr. Brown. And smile.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Stop.
Is something the matter?
This concert takes place in the afternoon.
Ah. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all sitting comfortably.
Stop.
Now, what was wrong with that?
Mr. Brown, by the time you and your class come on, the audience will have been sitting on those hard chairs for 1.5 hours. I wouldn't mention anything about comfort if I were you.
Miss Courtney, but I think the whole idea is ridiculous. I am supposed to teach English to foreign students.
He sounds like a foreign student.
Look, wouldn't it be far simpler for you to just get another chauffeur?
No, I couldn't do that. You see, Jock's father gave his life defending my father during the war. I feel I owe him a living.
Yeah, well, in that case, why don't you make him very happy and give him a job in your harem or something?
Don't be stupid, Mr. Brown. Now listen to me, Mr. Brown. You are a teacher of English, and it is your job to teach English no matter who or what your students may happen to be.
Well, actually, I
don't
tried to tell you-
interrupt.
Ah, Miss Courtney, I'm sorry. I'm afraid I can't do it.
Can't do what?
Put up with our Scottish friend. He's a disruptive influence on the rest of the class.
Mr. Brown, I am afraid that you must. I have invited the Sheikh to meet the Board of Governors. He has promised to give us a new school hall.
I don't care if he's promised to give you the Albert Hall. It's a baby.
Well, it's certainly not a cocker spaniel.
Now, you mustn't worry, Miss Courtney.
I beg your pardon?
These things happen even in the best families. There is no shame these days in being an unmarried man.
Oh, you silly little man, it's not mine. But I think I can safely say you won't find another principal like me.
I'm sure I won't. You've done something to your hair.
My hair?
Yes, looks different somehow. Much more feminine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you don't mind me saying so, you really look quite attractive.
All right, Mr. Brown, what are you after? Well, I'm wise enough to know when I'm being softened up. Now, what is it you want? Oh, a reference, no doubt.
Well, not exactly.
Well, what is it then?
Well, I'll come straight to the point, Miss Courtney.
Good.
I thought about this new job last night, and I've suddenly realised that money isn't everything.
Really?
After all, you can't buy happiness.
So you've decided not to take this job?
You're very perceptive.
I tried to telephone you earlier today to ask you to bring back the register. Mr. English said that you weren't there because there hadn't been a vacancy after all.
Ah.
Yeah. So now you've come crawling back to me, expecting to be reinstated.
Yeah, well, I would be grateful. I mean, after all, it'd be much easier on the students. I mean, easier all round, really.
Do I quite agree?
Oh, good.
Except for one thing. I have already engaged a new teacher.
You, wanted to see me, Miss Courtney?
Oh, yes, Mr. Brown. Are you still jobless?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. I was offered another job this morning, but I turned it down.
Not enough money?
Well, no, the money was all right. On the face of it, it seemed quite attractive. Office, virtually my own boss. Just didn't like the idea of working below ground.
On the underground?
No, gentlemen's conveniences. You see, Miss Courtney...
Stop. You must come down onto the floor of the court if you wish to address the bench.
Oh, right. You see, Miss Courtney, there are...
Stop. I am not Miss Courtney.
Funny. She looked like Miss Courtney.
You will kindly address me as Your Honour.
Sorry, Miss Courtney. Your Honour. The past participle of the verb to tell is told.
Mr. Brown, may I remind you that you are not here to teach English?
Yes, Miss Courtney. Sorry, Your Honour.
Carry on, Miss...
Pompous old twit. That old hen, she's such a pompous old twit.
Haven't you a class to go to?
Yeah, I was just going.
Oh, just one moment.
Something the matter?
Yes, it's still switched on.
Oh, my God!
I do hope you weren't being indiscreet. indiscreet.
No, of course, I never said anything, did I, Sid?
No, not a dicky bird. Never opened his normal shout.
Well, we'll see, shall we?
I think I'll go and sweep the floor.
Yes, I...
Stay where you are. Now, let's see what we can hear.
When you have finished with it, perhaps you would be kind enough to return it to the music club?
Yes, certainly.
You may go.
Thank you.
Here we are, that's it, there's no more.
No, definitely no more.
Just a moment.
Pompous old twit. My old hand, she's a pompous old twit.
I see. I am a pompous old twit, am I?
That wasn't you.
Really?
Good Lord, no, was it, Sid?
No, it's another old hen.
Yeah.
Then who was it?
Who? Well, it was...
Yes, it was the other old boiler, Gladys, the tea lady.
Yes, that's right, Gladys.
I would hardly call Gladys pompous.
Oh, wouldn't you? She can be very pompous at times.
I see. Well, perhaps you would tell pompous Gladys that I am waiting for my coffee. Well, that's funny.
What is?
I don't seem to be able to find my coat.
Oh, I hope you look. What does it look like?
Well, it's a sort of tweed mixture with fur around the cuffs.
And fur on the collar?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
What's the matter?
I thought everything on this rail was for the jumble sale.
What have you done with my coat?
I'm afraid I sold it to Gladys for £5.
Done what?
Yes, well, I hope you find Miss Courtney's questions as amusing. She'll be here any minute.
me,
Don't interrupt. I tend to tolerate your frivolous attitude, but you'll find that Miss Courtney is a horse of a different colour.
Oh, blimey. You should not be calling Miss Courtney a horse.
I wasn't, although there may be a certain resemblance.
Mr. Brown, please.
Just a minute, Daniel, I haven't finished yet. As I was saying, Miss Courtney will not be as tolerant as I, but on the other hand, you mustn't let her intimidate you. She may be a bit of an ogre, but she's only human.
Excuse, please, Mr. Brown.
What's to you, or why are you constantly interrupting me?
I think they are trying to indicate my
Ah, Miss Courtney, I didn't hear you come in.
Obviously.
How long have you been
Long
here?
enough. And now, Mr. Brown, if you don't mind, this horse of a different colour, this human ogre, would like to find out how clever your students are.
Yeah, well, certainly, they're all yours.
Now, who would like to be first? Well, don't all rush to volunteer. Oh, very well. I will ask a question, and anyone who wishes may answer. Now then, what is a circumflex? Oh, come along, circumflex. C-I-R-C-U-M-F-L-E-X. I'm sure somebody knows what a circumflex is.
Yes, please.